took it to the edge. I didn't give up.
Welcome back to Weather Center Live, where we are following a tornado threat through the rest of the day. The newest tornado watch issued by the Storm Prediction Center goes from southern Nebraska into Kansas. That goes until 9 o'clock. We also have a watch a little bit further south, Oklahoma into Texas, also lasting into this evening. Now, within this zone, we do have this dry line. That's kicking up the storms, and we also have the areas of low pressure providing the spin, and that will translate down to some tornadoes later on. There isn't really all that much going on. A few storms popping up along the I-70 corridor in Kansas right now. We also have a few storms just outside of I-44 in Oklahoma. Not much going on further south from there. But how about this? Outside of that zone completely, northern Virginia into Maryland, we have a severe thunderstorm warning. It includes Berkeley Springs, goes until 3:15. Watch out for gusty winds and some small hail. Now, severe weather, not our only thing we're watching today. Let's go out to the lab. Vivian standing by with Dr. Greg Postel.
Oh, yes, we are in the lab keeping you updated on the 60% chance of an area of low pressure developing into a tropical system, right?
A tropical or a subtropical system, right? Meaning not entirely driven by the jet stream. We'll have some thunderstorms sort of supplying it with energy, but that's the area that we're looking not far off the Florida coast. Probably, I don't know, maybe 100 plus miles offshore. But here's the number, Viv, that you were talking about. 60% chance over the next 5 days. But it will be with us for the next 5 days, not far from where it is now. It is going to be a slow mover with impacts lasting for days. So let's look at the visible satellite shot, Viv.
That's right, because you said either tropical or subtropical, but it really doesn't matter if you're along the east coast of Florida or South Carolina or Georgia, because the only thing you want to know are the impacts, of course. And we're talking about the rain and the winds and the choppy waters, right?
Right. So I think the lowest pressures are right up there, and there aren't any thunderstorms right up there. So what we're seeing is this area of low pressure really being supported and driven by the upper level winds. This pretty big dip in the jet stream has moved on through. So this is kind of like, you can think of it almost like a wintertime system, but over pretty warm water and over a warm environment kind of thing. But anyway, the idea is we're still going to get impacts over the next several days with this onshore wind, and you can see that even though the center of circulation, probably the most prominent one, is out here, way out away from that, Viv, we're starting to see some rain showers come on shore. The sea breeze has pushed back to the west, and I think we'll see a few more of those showers work their way inland over the next probably couple days. Look at the circulation center. It looks kind of broad, doesn't it?
I mean, that is key. You said the next couple of days. I mean, this is Mother's Day weekend coming up, and you mean to tell me we can still be dealing with this?
Yes, an onshore flow, really, even up through parts of Georgia and the Carolinas, really. So that's going to increase the surf. It is going to make rip currents a real threat, I think, up and down the coast through the weekend. So the winds, probably not so much on the high side. We're only seeing 10 to 20. I don't know how much above that we're ever going to get. Maybe in some small areas, some gusts higher than that. But we have some cameras out across the region. I think we have Myrtle Beach, don't we? Did I call
let's
that right?
take you there.
How about that, Apple? Look at that. Oh, see the flags there, though?
You can see how windy it is, okay?
Yeah, right. That's the thing. That's the kind of thing we're going to be seeing a lot of. We're going to have those winds kind of coming onshore a little bit, but a lot parallel to it, and bringing the water up a little bit, kicking those waves up a little bit. So be careful out in the waters there, because the rip current threat, as I mentioned, will be higher than normal.
And we really have to stress that. I mean, I know it might be a little enticing for the surfers and the expert swimmers, but you really need to be careful when you talk about a rip current threat.
Right, exactly. And it's going to be a couple of days of that at least, because still by Thursday, tomorrow afternoon, we'll see some showers and storms probably rotate their way in, 10 to 20-ish mile per hour winds still along the coast. But Thursday night, it's going to be the same. Friday, look, you can see it's not moving much, and it may stall off the coast there over the weekend. Viv, look at these different models, because what we're seeing is the models are kind of like moving it that way, and then they kind of hold on to it Friday, Saturday. Still by Saturday 2 p.m. it might not be far offshore. So this is a long duration thing.
But one thing we have to note is that all of the computer models are bringing them inland.
Excellent point. You're right. There's consensus that that's the area that, if you want to think of the center of circulation moving that way, but perhaps this is such a sprawling system, don't concern yourself so much with where the center goes, because the impacts will be all the way from Cape Hatteras down to Jacksonville Saturday and even Sunday as well.
Not looking good. Okay, we'll be here for the next several days, of course, keeping everyone updated, right?
Yeah, sure will.
All right,
no doubt.
Thanks very much, Dr. Postel. We'll be right back.
Currently in our area, 81 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. This afternoon, thunderstorms accompanied by locally heavy rainfall at times. High 83. Chance of rain 80%. Tonight, partly cloudy. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. Low 69. Thursday, sunshine and some clouds. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. High 85. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Thanks for joining us for Weather Center Live. I'm Vivian Brown.
And I'm Mark Elliott. And here we go, right? Tropical season hasn't even officially begun, yet we have an area of interest that we are investigating. It's off the Florida coast. You know, here it is, right? Lots of cloud cover, lots of that kind of counterclockwise spin. But the storms aren't at the center of the low yet, which means this is a regular old low pressure area. That said, National Hurricane Center saying 60% chance that this will develop in the next few days.
All right, we're watching that for sure. But meanwhile, on land, this is what we're dealing with. A tornado that spun up in Roswell, New Mexico yesterday. And take a look at some of the damage it did. The tornado destroyed a shed and wrapped a garage door around a power pole. And there is a chance of more severe storms today. In fact, some places have a 60% chance of possible tornadoes. So, our own Mike Bettis is in the lab, and he shows us all of these storms and how they're developing. Mike.
Well, the atmosphere is ripe right now for severe weather, especially in that typical tornado alley. We're talking Texas, Oklahoma, up through Kansas. Those are the prime areas right now for strong storms that could produce damaging wind, hail, and we can't rule out tornadoes. There's the setup right now. We've got this low that spins here, exiting Colorado, moving up toward Nebraska. Dry line associated with it extends off to the south. So we're looking at is dry air pulling in on the backside, warm, moist, unstable air on the front side, and that's what you need to get convection to happen or thunderstorm development. And so we'll be watching this area very, very closely today. There's a look what's happening with our thunderstorms really now just starting to get kicked up here in Lawton. We've got severe watches here, in effect, tornado watches, in fact, for all this I-35 corridor that goes till 9 o'clock this evening. Here's a look at what we're looking at on the radar, and you're going to end up seeing some opportunities for the remainder of the evening, more and more opportunities for some storms to fire up here. And so we put this into motion. You'll see that storms are fire up right along that I-35 corridor. Everything seems to be there for some opportunities for some storms to fire up. There's a look at the dew points. You can see it is very, very juicy outside right now. And so what that means is dew points generally around 55 or so, more than enough to get the atmosphere primed for storms. We've got some here that are 65 in Oklahoma City, 68 for us in Dallas. And when you take a look at the wind shear on top of that, and you take a look at the opportunity for some available energy in the atmosphere, here's what you're looking at. This is the convective available potential energy, a large area here, say Wichita down towards San Antonio, including opportunities even in Houston and Corpus Christi for some available energy in the atmosphere that we're going to tap into. And then you've got wind shear in the atmosphere, and this could offer you opportunities for rotation of supercell thunderstorms. You overlay the two of those, and you see this area in brown. That's the highlighted area that we're most likely to see storms today, and storms are already firing now in portions of central Oklahoma. Let's take a look at the remainder of the day, what our threat is for thunderstorms, and it's going to be in that corridor. You can see it highlighted in red where we're looking for severe criteria, meaning 1-inch diameter hail, 60+ mile-per-hour wind gusts, and an opportunity for tornadoes. So let's run through your torcons for today. A 4 in northern Texas. So if you live in, say, Abilene up toward Wichita Falls, that's a 40% chance of tornadoes. Central Kansas, central Oklahoma, so Oklahoma City up towards Salina, a 60% chance of tornadoes. And then central Nebraska, so a place like Kearney or Grand Island, that's us. That threat returns tomorrow, goes farther north, though, all the way to the upper Midwest. A place like Minneapolis, we could be looking for some storms that could produce tornadoes, but Texas again, a 4 is your Torcon, north central and northwest Texas. Then we take you up farther north here, a 3 in eastern Nebraska, and then through Iowa. So that could be, say, Omaha over toward Des Moines, and then Eau Claire and maybe Minneapolis, looking for storms to come your way that could produce tornadoes, a Torcon of 3. What does the weekend provide? Stick with us. Vivian will have that coming up in our next hit.
All right. Thanks very much, Mike. In fact, let's show you what we're talking about for later today into tonight. We're watching from Texas all the way through Kansas and to Nebraska. As Mike mentioned, many cities are definitely in the target zone, including Wichita, Kansas. Starting at 6 o'clock, that's when we think those storms will really start to ramp up and will very well continue right on into the wee hours of the morning. Oklahoma City, the same for you. You're pretty much under a tornado watch right now. That watch is out until 9 local time, so you know we'll be here watching your radar very closely. And what about you in the Big D? Dallas, you are in the target zone as well. Storms could produce tornadoes even, and we think things will really start to ramp up maybe about 6 or 7 o'clock this evening, and we will be here turning the radar on high gear and letting you know. Right now, Dallas, you are not officially under the tornado watch. It's a little bit to your west, but we want you to know that if any watches are issued for your area, certainly any warnings, we will be the first to let you know. So please continue to rely on us for the latest, because we're doing, of course, what we do best, and that is watching the weather picture for you very closely. Back to you, Mark.
Thanks, Viv. And our other big story is, of course, the tropic threat. And you know what? It is an early tropical threat, mostly when you factor in the land component, right? We could have real impacts to land this early in the season because of the tropics. So that's something that we're watching very carefully. We're going to continue to follow this over the next several days as our area of low pressure gets slowly better organized. We're hoping that we'll see this move on across the next few days. Here we go. We got an area of invest, right? An investigative area. The National Hurricane Center watching this carefully and giving it a 60% chance of turning into something more organized than what we have now. Maybe a depression, maybe a subtropical cyclone, meaning components both of a regular low and an old school area of, or a tropical area of low pressure. The water temperatures here are warm, right? In the upper 70s to low 80s. That's conducive to some tropical development, but you got to get the thunderstorms near the center of the low pressure area. And right now, we don't have that. The center of the low is in here, and all the stormy weather is displaced off to the south, off to the north and east. It's not co-located in here where the actual area of low pressure is. So right now, this is just a regular old area of low pressure, a regular old cyclone, if you will. That said, there are some real impacts. Whatever this winds up being called doesn't matter as much if you had beach plans coming up Mother's Day weekend from northeast Florida into South Carolina. We are looking for squally weather, showers and thunderstorms to start to rotate in as our area of low pressure gets better organized and slowly moves towards the coast. Rip current threat will be high, wave action will be high. Be careful at the coastline.
You know, some people have told me reverse mortgages sound too good to be true. I mean, you get cash out of your home, no monthly payments, and still own your home. There's got to be a catch, right, Jesse? Well, there isn't. It's like any other mortgage, only with a reverse mortgage, the loan's paid back when the last borrower leaves the home. In fact, reverse mortgages are based on a notion that President Reagan signed into law over 25 years ago in order to help seniors remain in their homes. If you're 62 or older and own your own home, you may qualify for a government-insured reverse mortgage with AAG that allows you to turn the equity in your home into tax-free cash. And with AAG, there are never any credit score requirements.
Call 1-800-661-0312 now to receive a new free information kit, including a reverse mortgage guide and DVD, personal stories from people like you, and a brand new family guide for children and loved ones, all absolutely free with no obligation.
AAG can help you pay off credit card debt, eliminate monthly mortgage payments, and provide some real retirement security.
Call 1-800-661-0312 today to get your free AAG reverse mortgage information kit and bonus DVD.
In the kits, you'll receive a helpful 3-part guide. The first will show you how a government-insured reverse mortgage allows you to access the equity in your home as tax-free cash. 500,000 people have already done it. The second booklet contains stories told by people just like you who've had their lives changed forever using a reverse mortgage. And the third guide is full of helpful answers and information for children and loved ones.
Call 1-800-661-0312 now to receive your information kit and DVD, all absolutely free.
They're simply an effective way for folks just like you to get the cash you need to enjoy your retirement.
Call 1-800-661-0312 now to receive your information kit and DVD, all absolutely free. Call 1-800-661-0312 now.
AAG, the best advice for a better life.
Where you get your weather matters.
This is a large and dangerous tornado.
Real local.
We are live in Oklahoma, Arkansas.
Real accurate.
This one's going to have some precipitation with it.
Real experts.
Wow, that's the leading edge of the thunderstorm.
This is basically what makes the Weather Channel
Keep the Weather Channel on. Here at the Weather Channel.
The Weather Channel is out in full force today.
Only the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 81 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Tonight, thunderstorms early, low 68. Chance of rain, 80%. Thursday, mainly clear. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. High 85. Thursday night, thunderstorms early, low 70. Chance of rain, 40%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Weather Channel's most watched original program.
And it just hit us.
Is back.
This is just the beginning of what's to come.
Anyone have occasional constipation, diarrhea, gas, bloating?
Yes.
One Phillips Colon Health probiotic cap each day helps defend against these occasional digestive issues with 3 types of good bacteria. Live the regular life. Phillips.
You may not be a prepper now, but you will be. Whether the next disaster is man-made or wrought by Mother Nature, you need a plan. WiseFoodStorage.com's emergency gourmet meals are made in the USA, delicious, easy to prepare, just add water, and packaged and proportioned perfectly, eliminating waste and creating a shelf life of up to 25 years. Why face your next emergency on an empty stomach? Request your free sample today at WiseFoodStorage.com.
Very active weather day here at the Weather Channel as we watch the tornado watches that have been issued. These watches, of course, issued by the Storm Prediction Center. A watch means that atmospheric conditions are favorable for tornadoes, with this case being a tornado watch, which includes the Omaha area just to the west of town, down through southeastern Nebraska, Kansas, and even into the central parts of Oklahoma and Texas. Both watches are in effect until 9 o'clock local time. Here is the setup, our satellite picture superimposed with radar showing you the showers and storms as they kind of wrap around the main area of low pressure that we've been watching. Some individual thunderstorms seemingly reaching severe limits. None of these have been warned on at this time anyway. This one just north of the interstate, working across the north central parts of Kansas there, moving off to the north. And this particular area of storms, this has just been issued a severe thunderstorm warning south and west of the Oklahoma City area. The thunderstorm itself is moving to the northeast, just to the northeast of the Lawton area. You can see the counties of Cato and Comanche, and these counties again could anticipate hailstones at least the size of golf balls. That's what we've had earlier with this particular thunderstorm. And as we zoom you over into south central Pennsylvania, you can see the counties of Bedford, Fulton, and Huntingdon under severe thunderstorm warnings. Hailstones the biggest threat so far because we've had hailstones the diameter of about 1.5 inches. That's about the size of a golf ball. So please be. And even as you cross over into the northern parts of Virginia and to Maryland, we have some hailstones associated with these thunderstorms as well. Mark?
All right, so we definitely have a storm threat through the rest of today, but we also have a storm threat through the rest of the week. And here's the thing. The storm chances don't move all that much. If you're in the center of the country, we have a prolonged day after day severe weather event here. Tomorrow, look, it's even a larger zone from as far north as Minneapolis to as far south as San Angelo and just about everywhere in between. Hail, wind, tornado threat will be there as well. We start off across the south where from north central into northwest Texas, there's a 40% chance, a 4 out of 10 chance of seeing a tornado within any 50-mile radius. A 3 there in Nebraska into Iowa, and then Minnesota Minnesota into Wisconsin, also a 3. So we are really covering a lot of real estate here for that chance for severe weather. So that was Thursday. Friday, notice it's much more of the same. West Texas, western and central Oklahoma, Kansas into Missouri. You've got your chance for severe weather. It doesn't, again, include the chance for tornadoes. A 3 out of 10 chance in West Texas. Also a 3 out of 10 chance a little bit further north, western Oklahoma into southwest Kansas. And that threat stretches into Missouri with that 30% shot of a tornado in any 50-mile radius. Now, if it were just the rotating storms, that'd be one thing, but you're going to see a lot of rain within this area as well, and the grounds are saturated, so several inches of rain possible. We'll have to watch out for flooding. And it doesn't even stop Friday, right, Viv?
No, it doesn't, because we're looking at the severe weather threat to extend into the weekend. Here is a look at the setup, because we have the low-level winds coming in from the west central Gulf of Mexico, this deep, tropical, rich moisture that'll be coming in. That, of course, combining with the dry air that'll be pushing in from the west here, and just the clash of the air masses alone at the surface is enough instability, of course, to create some storms. But then when you factor in an area of low pressure, not only at the surface but in the upper levels too, giving us a pocket of cold air aloft, then that really sets up the dynamics in the atmosphere for the severe weather. And this time we're not only talking about hailstones, high winds, and locally heavy rains, but again the tornadic threat here across the middle of the country. Now on Saturday, a 40% chance of tornadoes in southern Kansas. And even as you head a little farther south, a 50% chance of tornadoes in western Oklahoma, northwestern Texas, and deep in the heart of Texas, a 40% chance of tornadoes here. Again, this is Saturday. Sunday, another round of the severe weather and pretty much targeting the same general areas. But you know we'll be here keeping you ahead of these storms. Mark?
Yeah, and it's begun. A severe thunderstorm warning has come out for Lincoln County, Kansas. Plus, we're watching the tropics because we're already seeing our first tropical invest of the season. Plus, hail. That's a lot of hail, and we're not the only ones fixated on the storms. How about this cat watching the storms go by in Vancouver, British Columbia? There were ice pellets flowing down the middle of the street, and yes, hail a threat in the central U.S. We'll show you the latest warnings next.
Thompson's Water Seal Waterproofing Stain. The seal you can trust, with stain and sealer in one, and easy to choose colors. Exceptional beauty and protection have never been easier. Thompson's Water Seal Waterproofing Stain. Available at the Home Depot.
It's a beautiful day to use Thompson's Water Seal.
I'm the protector of my patio. Killing weeds where they grow. A barrier forms so weeds can't appear. Serious weed prevention up to a year.
Roundup Max Control 365.
So I'm fighting weeds on opening day and preventing weeds while I get away. Weeds stay dead as we carve this beast, and they still aren't back when I cook this feast.
Roundup Max Control 365.
One more time, let me make it clear. With no more weeds, it's your year.
There are no medals won for earning a living. It's just what you do for family. But it's hard to build a future if you can't see past today. That's why Walmart is investing in the most important part of our company, our people. Because a raise in pay raises us all.
What's Jennifer Lopez's secret for building lean, sexy muscle?
Tasty Shake Protein by Body Lab. Because when I eat better, I feel better.
Tasty Shake delivers 15 grams of delicious protein in just 90 calories.
Be the girl of your dreams.
I'm one. I'm one. I'm one.
I am one of the ones who discovered Always Discreet underwear for sensitive bladders.
It makes me feel secure, confident, and I feel protected.
I mean, I feel comfortable to move in them. They move with me.
I love Always Discreet underwear because of the fit. The fabric is very soft. I can wear whatever I want to wear.
Always Discreet's made me a very happy woman.
Join over 500,000 women who've discovered Always Discreet underwear. For more stories and your free sample, go to alwaysdiscreet.com so bladder leaks can feel like no big deal.
Red Nose Day is coming.
Red Nose Day is when the biggest stars get together for a night of fun and laughs.
It's an epic event
to raise money for children worldwide.
It's for the kids.
Get your nose into it. Red Nose Day is coming live Thursday, May 21st, 8/7 Central on NBC.
Can you tell I got a nose job?
As former firemen, we learned the key to doing a great job was to work well together.
It's also the key to making a great sandwich.
Take our turkey bacon ranch sub, piled high with smoked turkey breast, sharp cheddar cheese, creamy peppercorn ranch, then topped with bacon.
Or try our Hook and Ladder Light. Starts at just $5.49. Like all our subs, a perfect balance of ingredients working well together.
If only you and your barber could work so well together.
At least I still need one. Please.
Firehouse Subs, founded by firemen.
It's the most intimate relationship you'll ever have. It's where you share your greatest triumphs, your deepest fears. It defines home. That's why City Furniture has all the best names in bedding, sleep professionals to help you find the best one for you, and a 120-day comfort guarantee. At the end of the day, make it the Mattress Gallery at City Furniture.
All you got to do is show us something that's amazing out there. We love to see your pictures. Every picture you share, we'll try to share it as well right here on AMHQ.
Currently in our area, 82 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Tonight, thunderstorms early, low 68. Chance of rain 80%. Thursday, mainly clear. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. High 85. Thursday night, thunderstorms early, low 70. Chance of rain 40%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
All right, we want to get you updated on the severe weather watches that are in effect right now. The Storm Prediction Center has issued 2, both of them tornado watches. This one out until 9 o'clock local time. Notice it includes the southeastern parts of Nebraska through central Kansas, all the way down to the west of Oklahoma. This second watch also from Oklahoma into Texas. This too is out until 9 o'clock local time. Again, both of these are tornado watches, meaning the atmosphere is favorable that the thunderstorms that do form are capable of producing tornadoes. Here's a look at the latest satellite picture superimposed with radar, which does show some thunderstorms as they wrap around the broad upper level low that we've been watching as it slides out of the west into the middle of the country. And we do have some widely scattered showers and storms. Now, this particular cluster, that particular thunderstorm cell that's working to the north here has been warned. It's a severe thunderstorm warning, and the biggest threat so far has been some pretty large hailstones between the size of quarters and golf balls. That's what we've had so far. So the county of Lincoln here in central Kansas and the cities of Beaver, Elkhorn, Lincoln Center, all under severe thunderstorm warnings. Again, so far with this particular thunderstorm, the biggest threat, hailstones. So be careful here. Mark?
And we've had several reports of tornadoes as well. In fact, we just got a brand new tornado warning coming out. This is for Lincoln County in Kansas, that same area that Viv was just looking at. Here is the Salina area. It's just to the west from there on I-70. This warning, packing a punch, potentially a tornado in progress with this storm. In fact, we're being told that there is a tornado on the ground, that people have viewed this. So take this warning extremely seriously. You want to get inside your house to the lowest level of your building, whatever building you're in, putting as many walls between you and this storm as possible. Again, this storm is just outside of Salina, moving through Lincoln County. Timing it out for you, here are some of the towns in play. Indiana, Battle Creek, Bloomfield. The timing on the screen for you, 2:35 in Indiana, 3:01 Battle Creek, and 3:32 Bloomfield. As this storm continues to move north and east, it is certainly going to put down some wind and some hail. But again, we are being told that there is a tornado on the ground with this storm. So many threats moving moving through and just north of I-70. So south of I-70 from this cell, you are in the clear, but the cities just north of I-70 definitely need to watch out for this one. That's for sure. Let's zoom in a little bit closer here, see if any other towns pop on the map for us so you can get your bearings. If you're from this area, here's Ellsworth. That's south of I-70, so you're out of the way from this particular cell. As it moves on off towards the north, it should stay just east of the Sylvan Grove area, moving through central and eventually eastern portions of Lincoln County. As this storm continues to get better organized, we would anticipate a little bit of a bend to the right of the forward movement, which would put it towards the eastern side of Lincoln County. That's something that we're going to watch very carefully. Again, the warning that came out from the National Weather Service office did reference a tornado on the ground. There are people in the area watching this right now, which is why we're staying on this storm for you. This is a much stronger worded tornado warning than we would often see. So Lincoln County, severe thunderstorm warning, and really now a tornado warning until 2:45. Beaver, Elkhorn, Lincoln Center, you are all in the path of this very dangerous storm. In fact, Lincoln Center, you are right in the center of that warning. Putting on some other cities for you. Lincoln Center, it looks like it'll get to you by about 2:44. The Barnard area by 3:12. We also have a town called Beaver there at 2:48. So in between the two, Beaver located right about here. This storm moving generally north with a little bit of an easterly component. Hail has been mentioned already, as is the wind, but the biggest threat here will be the tornado. So that's something very important to watch. Here we go. We've got chasers on the scene. A lowered base, wall cloud, and that clear funnel. Can't see the ground there. There's a hill in the way, but there is a potential that this is on the ground right now. There are chasers in the area. Don't go anywhere. We are going to stay with this storm. We have to go to break right now, but we will be right back following this shot, showing you where this tornado moves. We're going to keep you safe today. Don't go anywhere.
Today's the day. More and more people with type 2 diabetes are learning about long-acting Levemir.
As my diabetes changed, it got harder to control my blood sugar. Today, I'm asking about Levemir.
Levemir is an injectable insulin that can give you blood sugar control for up to 24 hours. And Levemir helps lower your A1C. Levemir lasts 42 days without refrigeration. That's 50% longer than Lantus, which lasts 28 days. Levemir comes in FlexTouch, the latest in insulin pen technology from Novo Nordisk.
Levemir is a long-acting insulin used to control high blood sugar in adults and children with diabetes and is not recommended to treat diabetic ketoacidosis. Do not use Levemir if you are allergic to any of its ingredients. The most common side effect is low blood sugar, which may cause symptoms such as sweating, shakiness, confusion, and headache. Severe low blood sugar can be serious and life-threatening. Ask your doctor about alcohol use, operating machinery, or driving. Other possible side effects include injection site reactions. Tell your doctor about all medicines you take and all of your medical conditions. Check your blood sugar. Your insulin dose should not be changed without asking your doctor. Get medical help right away if you have trouble breathing, sweating, extreme drowsiness, swelling of your face, tongue, or throat, dizziness, or confusion.
Today's the day to ask about Levemir FlexTouch. Covered by most health insurance and Medicare plans.
Let's do this. We start here, talk to her, pick up some of that, a few of those. Okay, a lot of those. Then dirt, plants, water, just a little time, and then boom. Spring. Big time. Let's do this. Plant color everywhere. 1 quart Vigoril annuals now 4 for just $10. The Home Depot. More saving, more doing.
A message from the Pulaski Law Firm. A government study reports thousands of workers have been diagnosed with asbestos-related mesothelioma. To compensate those affected, asbestos trusts have been established with $30 billion in initial funding. You may be entitled to financial compensation without ever going to court. Act now. Call 1-800-950-MESO for a free consultation. If you've been diagnosed with mesothelioma, get the best care available. Then call us. Mesothelioma. Don't fight it alone.
Time to sweat, boys. Big time. Let's get this thing right. This is my one shot.
I have made fire!
Guys in the Woods. The new season starts June 7th, only on the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 82 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Tonight, thunderstorms early, low 68. Chance of rain, 80%. Thursday, mainly clear. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. High 85. Thursday night, thunderstorms early, low 70. Chance of rain, 40%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Weather Channel's most watched original program.
And it just hit us.
Is back.
This is just the beginning of what's to come.
All right, the storms are beginning to ramp up as we speak. We have a tornado warning that is issued for the central parts of Kansas, just north of Interstate 70. Let's go to Ben McMillan because he is chasing this particular thunderstorm that from time to time shows a little funnel cloud. Ben, can you hear us?
Hi, Vivian. We have a lot more than a funnel cloud right now. We have a large multiple vortex tornado on the ground here south of Lincoln, Kansas. If you are in Lincoln, Kansas, or on Highway 14, you need to take shelter immediately. It's a large tornado which is continuing to grow in size.
Tell us a little bit more about exactly where you are and what you're seeing at this time.
Again, we're south of Lincoln, Kansas on Highway 14. We've had this tornado start off as a smaller stovepipe tornado that's transitioning to a larger circulation here. I'm going to zoom out, and you can see the wall cloud there above it. This is a serious situation. Strong circulation that continues to intensify. We have lots of debris on the ground here. Try to zoom in and get it for you shot there. In the shot at the bottom, you can see those multiple vortexes continuing to spin up.
Yeah, definitely that lowered base of the wall cloud and then several of those multi-vortex suction vortices rolling around. Has this tornado moved over any structures, any houses, any barns in the area that you've seen yet?
We have not seen any structural damage yet. That's why we're still tracking it at this point. If we see the damage, we'll stop immediately and enable it. But again, this large multi-vortex tornado is getting ready across Highway 14 in Kansas, south of Lincoln. South of Lincoln, Kansas, you need to take shelter immediately.
Yeah, take shelter immediately. A multi-vortex where we're looking at with these different funnel clouds sticking down. Let's go to our severe weather expert, Dr. Greg Forbes, to talk more about what he's seeing. Dr. Forbes.
Yeah, and I just wanted to reaffirm what our chaser just said. It's within 5 miles or 5 minutes or so of Lincoln, Kansas, so you definitely in the city need to be seeking shelter. And you can see that this is a wide tornado, so this may be about as wide as the community itself.
Dr. Forbes, we look at this. This is not unusual to get multi-vortex, wrapping around apparent circulation here. We see this all the time, but those little small vortices that really can cause some of the most damage.
Yeah, it really is. For our chaser there, it seems to us, looking at your video, that it's almost as if the whole wall cloud is down to the ground and it becomes a tornado. Is that your impression?
Yes, Dr. Forbes, the whole wall cloud is coming to the ground. It hasn't fully condensated yet, but don't let that give you a false sense of security. There's lots of debris on the ground here. I don't know if on the zoom there, can pick it up for you with the stream. I know the quality can be low at times, but we're seeing lots of debris swirling around below this wall cloud.
Yeah, we've seen these multiple funnels revolving around that wall cloud. So this is the kind of thing that reminds us of say, some of the big tornadoes that we've seen in the past, where the whole thunderstorm rotation comes down to the ground and you get a mile wide or 2 miles wide tornado at times.
Ben, it's Mike Bettis. What road are you on right now? Which direction are you traveling? Which direction is the tornado traveling?
Mike, we have a roof that just flew through the air here.
Oh, we see it. We see it, Ben. So it's hit something now.
Yeah, keep moving
big piece. The whole roof went there.
Yeah, this is a serious situation, guys. This is life or death out here. These folks in these farmsteads need to get in a shelter immediately. It's a large tornado that's continuing to track east and north.
We're seeing the town of Lincoln, or at least some part of Lincoln, be hit right now by the looks of things. This is very, very serious situation.
Ben, how far are you, would you estimate, from the circulation right now? I assume you're not wanting to go any farther forward. It's crossing the road.
Correct. We're probably just about 4 to 5 miles south of Lincoln.
Oh, there's a building right there.
Yep. Go ahead and talk. We're just working on our logistics here, guys. Apologize. Getting the left line there, TJ. Thank you. Yeah, we're just about 4 to 5 miles south of town. It's almost east of the road now. And it's continuing to, it's not really fully coming down to the ground, but we still have debris below it.
Ben, what's off to the right? We're watching it cross the street here. Is there anything off to the right there on your screen that may be in the path of this?
Guys, this is incredible. Large multiple vortices in the field right in front of us.
Looks as if it may have now passed just north. If I'm correct, is it just passing north now of the community of Lincoln, Ben?
No, it's south of Lincoln, Dr. Ford. Still south of Lincoln along Highway 14.
Oh, it's still south, so it's still it's hit something south of Lincoln and still heading toward the community. That's not good.
You can see some the multi-vortex within that, Dr. Forbes. How much impact do those small little vortices have? They're quick, they're fast, but they're very, very strong.
Yeah, they really are. My guess would be that the tornado itself here maybe has 75-mile-per-hour winds in that, but these multiple vortices, where they hit, the winds might be up to 150 miles per hour because of the very intense rotation.
You can see there's rotation almost right above where Ben is here. But Ben, are you in a safe location?
Yes, sir. We're south of the circulation. The storm's moving away from us. We are in a safe position this time. Thanks for checking on us.
Do you notice any buildings that may be inhabited that have been hit by this?
We saw the roof come flying through the air, but we were unable to figure out where it came from.
And then after that, we saw big pieces of debris that were flying, like maybe they were big pieces of siding or something like that also after that whole roof flew off. So probably several buildings were hit there on the south side of Lincoln.
So again, you're looking right now at a storm that has produced a tornado, multi-vortex tornado. This is a tornado-warned storm. This is a tornado warning for Lincoln County, Kansas. This is north of I-70, north of Salina. So if you live around Elkhorn or Lincoln Center, tornado basically right on top of you. Doppler radar has indicated some pretty strong rotation. We've seen that obviously now with the chaser video. Dr. Forbes.
Yeah, and this storm is moving about 30 miles per hour. So the next community after Lincoln would be Barnard. It's coming your way as well.
Go ahead and stop, TJ. Stop.
Ben, do you have any visual on it any longer?
There it is.
There's a funnel. Can you tell if it's still in contact with the ground?
Yeah, it's ripping up trees. I'm going to try to zoom in and show you that right now.
Oh yeah, there's dust,
large circulation.
dust and debris swirl right in there.
I'm hand shooting this. I apologize for the shaky video.
Oh, that's good. We can see the trees swaying in the winds of the tornado.
So this is coming right near Lincoln Center as we speak.
There goes a suction vortex going leftbound in the screen there.
If you're in Lincoln Center, you have to take shelter right away. Underground, if you have an underground shelter, get there right now. An interior room, put as many walls between you and the danger as possible. Confirmed tornado right now near Lincoln Center, Kansas. You're looking live right now at the tornado. Chaser Ben McMillan on the phone with us. Ben, give us your perspective of what's happening right now.
Well, Mike, I believe it's missed the community, which is just a godsend at this point. But still, these farmsteads are in imminent danger. The circulation appears to be passing south of town. So now the new threat is going to be areas southeast of Lincoln and east of Lincoln.
Real good example here in the past few seconds of the very strong rotation of the cloud, then at what appears to be a clear space. But if you look right above the tree line, you see little bits of dust and debris that are picked up periodically. So there are continue to be these suction vortices, multiple vortices. There's a good one right there.
Oh, tremendous flow with that.
Very likely to have pretty intense winds in localized spots.
We've got basically a wall cloud here, Dr. Ford. It seems to come almost all the way to the ground with the rotation, then the funnel and the tornado coming down from that. This is a very well-formed storm.
Yeah, it really is. It has tremendous rotation, maybe of the whole cloud right down to about 1,000 feet or so above the ground. And then occasionally we're getting the tornado circulations develop beneath that.
So the large area you're seeing there kind of in the lighter gray, that would be the rotating wall cloud. You're seeing right behind that tree where the circulation is. But some people might mistake that whole entire rotating wall cloud, Dr. Forbes, as the tornado. But the tornado would fall from that.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And we've seen that happen a few times. Something that was about the size of 10% of the width of that broad rotation has dropped down to the ground as a tornado. Now that said, there may be little mini tornadoes that could be revolving around the whole maybe this is a mile on. Ooh, the wall cloud is getting more concentrated now. Now the tornado has come down again right out of the center of that part. Right above that silo, you're seeing the tornado, and just to the right there, you're seeing the tornado that's dropped down. So there may be. We're in the transition between the wall cloud and the tornado here. There could be 75, 80 mile per hour winds down at the ground almost constantly.
So there's a funnel right in there. This is the whole rotating wall cloud that's rotating counterclockwise here, Dr. Forbes.
Yeah, and you can just see how there's one now over here. Looks like there's probably another tornado that's trying to form beneath this.
Is it uncommon to get more than one tornado forming from the same wall cloud?
No, that can happen at times. Usually in this case, when they're this close together, afterwards they'll get classified as one big broad tornado with little embedded suction vortices inside of it.
Ben, are you still with us on the phone? Ben McMillan, Storm Chaser, on this. We are in Lincoln County, Kansas. Ben, what are you noticing from your perspective, from your camera?
Well, Mike, we're just getting ready to come into the city of Lincoln here. We have state troopers and fire department personnel all running with their emergency lights on. They seem to be aware of the situation, but we're just hoping that the word can get out to everyone at this point so they can all do what they need to do to keep themselves safe.
We watched this tornado come right in front of you, right across the street. You had kind of slowed down, let it pass in front of you. Now it's gone off to your right. Can I assume that you are pointed west?
We're looking north, Mike. We're staying south of the storm for our own safety.
How far are you from it right now, and how quickly is it moving, would you estimate?
Probably moving north at about 30 to 35 miles an hour here. You're going to lose the shot as we enter the city of Lincoln here. We'll be able to give you a damage assessment shortly. It may have actually clipped some of the outer lying edges here. You can see that circulation right above the city there. That's what all those trees are in the shot.
Yeah, noticing on our radar, the circulation may be right over Lincoln Center as we speak. And we've seen this pulse multiple times, Dr. Forbes, putting down tornadoes. Seems as weakened maybe a little bit in the last couple of minutes, not producing the big funnel that we saw earlier.
Yeah, and I would say now that it may be about 2 miles north of Lincoln Center and heading up toward the Bernard area as they're to the south of it. And now they're coming, obviously, driving right through the community of Lincoln Center.
So we see a few more homes here. Ben, do you know if the circulation's gone over this town, or did it just miss?
I think it was a very fortunate thing. I think a lot of the multiple vortexes we were discussing actually lifted as it went over the community. So thank goodness for that. At this point, we're fortunate so far, at least for the city.
Well, we appreciate your perspective. This is truly incredible. Again, recapping for you folks, you're looking live at a tornado-warned storm. This is north of I-70 in Kansas, in Lincoln County, Kansas. Our chaser here, Ben McMillan, is driving through the town of Lincoln Center that may have just been spared by this, but this has put down a multi-vortex tornado. Dr. Forbes, we saw it kick up debris. Maybe looked like a big piece of maybe roof had gotten flung up by this.
Looked like a whole roof, that one, and then there was others that were multiple pieces. I've been trying to look there as we've been driving, as he's been driving through the town. I thought I saw maybe a part of a carport canopy that might have been knocked down or damaged, but so far, from what we're seeing along this road, at least, there doesn't seem to have been any of the whole roofs taken off or anything that would have created the debris that we saw. It looked like maybe there was part of a road sign board that may have been blown off.
Let's show you what we saw just moments ago, literally just minutes ago, of the tornado that touched down here. This is chaser Ben McMillan as the tornado was coming near the road he was chasing on, and you can see debris got tore off of a building here, Dr. Forbes. You can clearly see in these pictures multi-vortices just spinning around the parent circulation.
Yeah, absolutely. A big wide tornado with multiple vortices, and of course those are the ones, as we saw, when they hit something, it was those what we call suction vortices that were causing the damage.
You'll see it right here. You can see just right in the center of your screen. It's about to come across the screen. Then you're going to see the debris fly.
Being picked up by that.
So it certainly hit some sort of building. Ben was with us and couldn't confirm whether or not it was inhabited buildings that were hit or not. But we know that this at least has caused some damage, now pushing north of Lincoln Center.
And right about there is probably the biggest of these multiple funnels that we saw, and there was the whole roof that you just saw flying off there. This was probably at its strongest, at least from what we've been seeing. The tornado circulation there, as manifested by that dust, got very wide at that point, probably a half-mile wide, I would guess.
Let's take you back to the live pictures of the storm now, as it has gone off to the north of Lincoln Center, now headed toward Bernard. So if you live in Bernard, please take shelter right away. We know we've had a storm here that has produced a tornado, if not multiple tornadoes, during its lifespan. You can see emergency responders now on the scene. Ben, are you still with us, Ben? Give us the lay of the land. What's happening right now?
We're just repositioning north of the city on 14. And again, it does not appear like any significant damage has occurred in the city.
Are you listening to any scanners or anything like that right now? Can you hear any of the first responder communication?
I have not. I actually turned down the radio so we can effectively communicate with you there in the studio. I can try to monitor that if you'd like.
Gotcha. I appreciate that, Ben. Thank you very much. I want you to be safe. But what are you noticing with that wall cloud? We're looking at it on the radar. Looks like the rotation has weakened somewhat.
Yeah, it appears to have broadened out a little bit. These things are obviously long-lived supercells, so it might just be cycling at this point. I'm not sure if it's going to drop down. We're just seeing broad rotation now. I don't see anything on the ground at this time.
This seems to be about 5 miles south of Bernard at this point, heading pretty much right toward Bernard. So people there need to be seeking shelter. I would think that this is a storm that is cycling, that could very well put down another tornado. There's not obviously anything in its way that would interfere with it. It is moving in such a direction, though, that is kind of moving into its own rain area, rather than moving along it, such that perhaps some of its own rain that is put down to the north might be interfering as this storm has not really made a dramatic turn to the right. It seems to be moving pretty much with the upper steering winds, and that means that its own anvil and its own shield of rain, the body of the storm, is right in the path of where the tornado is ultimately heading.
Maybe that would help dissipate this somewhat. So run into its own rain-cooled air, or I haven't noticed a lot of hail with it. Ben, have you noticed any hail with this storm? We haven't seen a lot of that on the Doppler. Not sure if we still have Ben with us or not, but we know that if it's running to cooler air, Dr. Forbes, that means it's cooled, it's denser air. It's not going to lead us to rotating updrafts within the storm, which would really build the storm.
Yeah, that's what we hope is the case. That said, it has really built up quite a rotating wall cloud with the storm, and so when that happens, what happens is the whole storm gets a low pressure up in the mid-levels or the low to mid-levels of the storm, so that even if you've got a little bit of rain-cooled, stabilized air in its path, that low pressure can sort of suck up, kind of like you would suck soda out of through a straw up through a can or a cup of soda. Right. And so you don't have to have the air that's perfectly buoyant, perfectly warm and unstable to still go up in these kind of thunderstorms, because they've built up enough momentum in their wall cloud that they can pull it up because of their own low pressure. So that's what sometimes happens. So unless the air gets too cold, you can sometimes continue to pull that somewhat stabilized air up. At the moment, it seems as if maybe the air that's ahead of it is too cool. That's our working hypothesis, at least, such that it is seemed to have lost its tornado at the moment.
So now, what you're looking at, folks, right now is a tornado-warned storm in Lincoln County, Kansas, a rotating wall cloud. I think we've reconnected with Ben, a storm chase here, Ben McMillan, on the phone with us. Ben, take us through this over the last couple of minutes. What you noticed when it was at its peak and what you're noticing now.
Hey, Mike, it was very strong as it was approaching the city of Lincoln, Kansas. It did some damage to maybe some farm buildings or possibly some houses. We didn't see it, but we actually saw some roofs flying through the air. So a very serious situation here south of Lincoln, Kansas. And then luckily it actually lifted somewhat as it approached the city. So it didn't appear to do much damage in town. We're very thankful for that. It's now north of Lincoln, still on the Highway 14 corridor, and we're just monitoring it to make sure it doesn't reemerge from the wall clouds.
Well, it looks like you're at a good, safe distance from it here, a good paved road, so that's all good. Well, Dr. Forbes, when you look at his picture here, a couple of things you're noticing. I know you notice the rain shafts or maybe the hail shaft out ahead of him.
Yeah, I'm noticing that ahead. Now, that could be mistaken for a tornado given the context of all this, but I'm thinking that that is still just rain shaft. But clearly what has happened here is that they're driving into the south side of the storm. They're getting in some rain, so that can sometimes obscure the view. So it's not out of the question that there could still be something hiding in that area that kind of looks like rain shafts, but there could be a tornado hiding in that it just looks like rain shafts because the intervening rain is making kind of an obscure picture.
Ben, have you noticed this is becoming more of a rainmaker than what it was maybe 15 minutes ago?
Yeah, definitely, Mike. It's transitioning from that classic supercell type to that HP, and we haven't completely lost visibility of the wall cloud, but obviously it's not as good as it was, the view.
Well, Ben, we appreciate the pictures. Truly amazing. We know that first responders are on the scene right now monitoring this as well as we are here at the Weather Channel. But just moments ago, folks, you saw live pictures here at the Weather Channel of a tornado coming through Lincoln County, Kansas. Storm chaser Ben McMillan on with us and showing us the incredible views, and this is what it is doing right now. I want to also mention, by the way, Ben, thank you so much for your time, and we're gonna monitor your feed here and make sure that we're on top of anything that may happen here in Kansas. But it looks like the threat may have dissipated just a little bit. I want to show you another storm coming closer and closer to Oklahoma City, by the way, folks. We have a new tornado warning in Oklahoma. I wonder if we can get over to that and show you what's happening with that storm. This is a look at a storm coming near Chickasha. Dr. Forbes, Cato County here, the cities of Apache, Cement, Cyril here. This is right along I-44, just north of I-44 near Anadarko. And maybe coming toward Chickasha here. Pretty intense storm that may have enough rotation here that could be producing a tornado. Let me put the velocities on this and show you if we can see. What do you make of the velocities we got on here, Dr. Forbes? We definitely got some inbound and outbound wind here.
Oh, definitely. The red's going northbound, the green's going southbound. Very strong rotation. And where the green and red touch, that's what we call a tornado vortex signature. So it's in the area just south and east of Apache, heading off toward the north and east. It should go north of the Cyril area, heading toward the Verdon area. At its current direction.
All right, so we put the tracker on this. So a place like Stecker, momentarily going to be on you about 10 minutes. You got to take shelter right away. Indian City, 3:11 local time. Then coming near Vernon at 3:32. So shelter right away. If you've got a tornado shelter, you, your family, your pets, get there right away. Get underground if you can. If not, an interior room of your home on the lowest level, on the first floor. Get under a sturdy piece of furniture. Put your helmets on. Make sure you've got shoes. There can always be something like broken glass that could cut you. So take all those things into consideration. You may have just a few minutes to get to shelter here as we potentially have a tornado rolling near Chickasha. This is coming right north of I-44, outside of Lawton, north of Lawton, and just to the south and west of Chickasha. You can see where Oklahoma City is on the screen. This is southwest of Oklahoma City. This is another warning that we're watching for you in addition to the one up in Kansas that has already produced a tornado.
Yeah, just to the south, a few miles south of Stecker, a few miles west of Cyril at this point. If you've been watching, you've seen me looking off to this direction. I have a high, that's what we often call our high resolution radar that I've been over here looking while Mike is working with this system.
All right, so we've got some hail in this as well, Dr. Forbes. Around Apache, you've got at least 1 inch hail here to go along with what may be a tornado.
Yeah, indeed. This storm is going to head its way up toward the Oklahoma City metro area, and we're early in the afternoon. We're just coming up on 3 p.m. and right. So this is early in the day. It's a day that has not had very much of a cap, no real warm layer aloft to inhibit storms, so the storms have gotten an early start. It's often 4, 5, 6 o'clock before the storms get going. And so it is going to be a long afternoon, a long evening. We'll see more coverage instead of just these 1 or 2 storms of tornado warnings. I think we'll see quite a few. That's why I've given today central parts of Oklahoma up into central parts of Kansas Torcon values of 6. I've upped them as I came in today. 60% chance of a tornado with 50 miles. And 4 or so for south central parts of Nebraska, 4 or so for northwest or north central parts of Texas.
All right, let's take you. I want to go back to Kansas if we can. They've newly issued another tornado warning on the storm that we had been following, Dr. Forbes, that had indeed produced a tornado. You watched it live here on the Weather Channel. So you go up north of Lincoln Center, Kansas, be north of I-70. A new warning has been issued. I believe this is Mitchell County where the tornado warning has been issued. Lincoln County to the south, the new one, Mitchell County. So Asherville and Simpson, those are the cities that could be really impacted. The storm has been moving to the north, generally 25 to 30 miles an hour. I think we have pictures out of Kansas. We noticed that we had a tornado earlier, and there's the live picture right now on that storm. We don't see the definitive lowering, rotating wall cloud that we once did, Dr. Forbes, but I'm sure the Weather Service at this point issuing the warning, knowing that it has indeed produced a tornado at one point.
Indeed, and the storm seems to have speeded up now to going north at about 40 miles per hour, so it is just about on the Bernard, Kansas location at this point. We've had multiple tornado sightings that you watched us live down around Lincoln and south of Lincoln in Kansas. So this storm is heading from around the Bernard, Kansas area up toward the area maybe just to the west of Simpson, Kansas.
I want to take you now back down to Oklahoma. We've got some new pictures coming out near the Chickasha area. This is a live chopper cam from K4 TV here. Oh, we may have something in contact with the ground here. We may actually have a tornado now.
Dust swirled down at the ground
They're confirming a tornado now with National Weather Service on Chad, and you can see it here on the camera. This is southwest of Oklahoma City. This is in Cato County. So if you live in Cato County, tornado warning right now. Please take shelter right away. What do you make of this, Dr. Forbes?
Absolutely. Again, we see that cloud lowering the wall cloud, and then occasionally no funnel all the way to the ground, but you see that dust. You can still see it right down at the ground there, that swirl. The wind is swirling down at the ground despite the funnel not reaching all the way to the ground. So it's that swirl at the ground, the winds at the ground that define what a tornado is. It's not what the funnel or how far down the funnel goes. A usual rule is if the funnel is halfway to the ground or more, it probably is a tornado, and you can see at this point some swirling action down at the ground. You're seeing.
Yeah, I look down at the ground there. I don't see a lot of dirt, so this may be a newly planted field.
Meadow,
so you've got something there that's actually holding the ground in place. You may not get all that dirt that's flung up into the air here, Dr. Forbes.
Yeah, what I'm trying to look at here is to see if I'm seeing the trees, any trees that are swaying, or any trees that suddenly pop up out of the ground or break. This is awfully close to the ground, but it is over a meadow. The tornadoes.
Oh wow! Look at this. Do we have two funnels here?
Well, I think that is a tail cloud.
Okay.
I think that's an inflow that's coming into the wall cloud. There may be something though. They're taking a look at another storm there that is off in the distance and taking a look to see if it may have something on that as well. But the main storm, wow, look at that. There you go.
That one's
got to be having a circulation down to the ground.
You're taking this is a live look, folks. Now this is a storm that is north of Elgin, Oklahoma, just west of Chickasha, Oklahoma, outside of Oklahoma City. Live chopper cam right now out of Oklahoma City.
It is extremely rare for a tornado to actually pull grass out of the ground, and so when it's over a meadow like this, it is. As Mike was saying, it's very hard for any kind of dust or debris to come up. There's no dust there, and it's hard to pull up grass out of the ground. So unless it hits a tree or is able to pull a tree up, that would be the way that we would see. Yeah, we're seeing the chopper video.
Let's go ahead.
Now there
there
it
you
is.
go.
Now we've got the tornado.
Let's listen to the chopper pilot for a moment.
Zero is just fixing to cross those power lines right there. We'll be able to see if anything snaps and coming in, but. You know, still, if you're east-northeast of Surreal, you're going to obviously want to be able to take your turn here, Mike. It's getting bigger now. Base-wise, strength-wise, I don't think it is.
It comes back down, you see it lift, it comes back down. We've seen this many, many times, especially in Oklahoma.
Yes, indeed. And we're at a situation here where the instability is only going to increase as the day goes along. Pretty strong rotation in the area northwest of Cyril, southeast of Stecker, heading off toward the northeast, toward the Verdon area in Oklahoma.
Okay, so we'd be looking, I see some high-tension power poles here, Dr. Forbes. What kind of wind speed would have to take something like that down?
Well, I think probably, just off the top of my head, trying to recall, I think that would be probably usually about 120 miles per hour. Depends on exactly what type. Oh, there you see right behind that. Look at the trees leaning over and that right down to the ground there, just to the left of the power pole when they were zoomed in. So there's definitely a circulation on the ground there. Wow, look at the rotation in the cloud there that we're seeing.
So the rotation counterclockwise here, clear funnel, and we probably have something in contact with the ground here. We've seen a little bit of debris at times, not much, a lot of vegetation here, so it's probably not literally pulling the grass out of the ground at this point.
No, it doesn't usually do that. This tornado doesn't seem to be moving very fast at this point. So we're, look at the little wisps of clouds that rotate around that. No problem at all seeing the rotation in this.
So about 3,600 people under this warning right now. This is still in Caddo County, correct, yes. Sarah? Still Caddo County, so please take shelter right away. This is near Anadarko, so the rotation could be coming near Anadarko. And Dr. Forbes now getting more of a horizontal. Usually that means it's about to dissipate in more of a kind of an elephant trunk shape.
Yeah, it is. It is kind of roped out for some reason. Probably it's got some of the rain-cooled air in the road there. It's left the tornado behind down in this area. Look, the little kink in the tornado there, and then it goes almost horizontal all the way up to the parent circulation of the thunderstorm that has gone off toward the upper right there. So usually this at this point, when you start getting this contorted, the tornado is getting left behind and ever more narrow, so it usually begins to tear itself apart or brings in some of that drier environmental air, that non-rotating environmental air that dissipates the tornado, and that appears to be what we're having happen right here.
Again, you're taking a live look at K4 chopper video. This is live right now, southwest of Oklahoma City. Caddo Parish right now is under a tornado warning. This has produced what we've witnessed, at least 2 tornado touchdowns. Right now, it seems to maybe have lifted some up, but you still see a rotating wall cloud. If you live near Anadarko, right along, let's say, County Road 8, just outside of Chickasha, just passing by Apache, these are the locations that we're concerned about. You need to take shelter, lowest level of your home, an interior room. Put as many things between you and the danger as possible. Think it almost the opposite of a fire in your home. You'd want to get out of the danger, which would be in your home, so you'd go outside. In a tornado, you'd actually be inside and put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Stay away from windows. If you have bicycle helmets, get those for the kids. Put them on. Put your shoes on. Get to that interior room, whether that's a closet. Any room that doesn't have windows is great. If you have a tornado shelter, I know a lot of folks here in Oklahoma have tornado shelters. Now is the time to get to it and get to it as quickly as you can. Again, looking at live chopper cam now from K4 TV in Oklahoma City.
This is a big storm, Mike. I was just checking on the radar, and it's 50,000 feet tall, so it's nearly 10 miles high. So this is a mature mid-afternoon, late afternoon type storm that has developed the rotation down in its lower part. In fact, the rotating updraft through much of the storm depth. Down at low levels, we see that rotating updraft manifested as this rotating, what we call a wall cloud. It's like a layer of a layer cake that hangs down. And when we zoomed into that, you could really see how quickly it was rotating.
Let's get some perspective here from the pilot and listening to K4 chopper pilot John Welsh.
North 2680 road. So if you are south of Cyril, at this point, you're going to be safe. But as we kind of continue to show you this thing, it's going to be tracking probably 4 miles northeast of it. We still have that low rotating scud. We're not getting a lot of the rotation like we had earlier. But looks like at this time it's still cycling and going to regenerate. There is a lot of heavy lightning and rain right behind us, right in front of this storm here, Mike.
We're seeing on radar there had been a question about this storm, why it roped out and so on, and on radar I'm seeing the evidence that it has done what the storms usually do when they cycle. The original tornado, the original hook has made a left turn, and then we're getting a new hook formed to the right. So you may actually be seeing 1 and 2 here, the evidences of those multiple circulation centers in the storm.
Yeah, if it's fixing to drop another one, just go to your right just a little bit. I think right there.
So
that's got the most motion.
These chopper pilots are so experienced, Dr. Forbes, and they have seen these over and over again, and he's even anticipating potential another drop, but you can see the rotation within that pretty definitively.
They're trained very well, and that's certainly a good thing because their lives depend upon that. They don't want to certainly get caught in a new location where a new tornado would form.
And boy, he called it, didn't he? Look at there's some lowering there right now. Not uncommon at all to see these things cycle and produce multiple tornadoes along the way. So far, it appears that they've been maybe relatively weak tornadoes, but this is not uncommon at all.
No, this is pretty typical of the way that a storm has cycled. You, in fact, saw it beginning to get almost horizontal there as it roped out, ran into some of the rain-cooled air, and left that rain-cooled air, pushed it. Now it seems we have a brand new tornado trying to form.
There you go. And what you're noticing here is that you've got this rotation in that, Dr. Forbes. You can see the upward spin to it as well.
Yeah, you really can, and some tendency to have multiple funnels in that. Look at that. It's trying to have, just like we saw up in Kansas, it's trying to have, not as well intense in this case, but it's trying to have multiple funnels. Definitely a tornado spanning from right about there over to right about there at this point.
Let's listen back in with the chopper pilot John Welsh from K4 TV here in Oklahoma City. Tornado warning for Cato Parish right now.
Man, I moved like 2 miles away. I thought this would be perfect. There's another one.
Sometimes in these tornadoes, there's all sorts of proportions of whether the air in the tornado is mostly going up or whether it's mostly going around counterclockwise. This one at this time, I think, has mostly going up. The previous one we saw, it really had some strong counterclockwise horizontal rotation, and so
what does the upward motion tell you?
I think it was, Mike, and like I talked about, you can kind of see the three kind of distinct areas in your screen, like the left, the center, and then on the right side there, that you're actually really kind of fighting for the dominance. Now at this time it looks like maybe the center is going to take the state, pull in a lot of the energy. It has that little rope area that it'll kind of come down, just a little bit of ground contact, and then it lifts. I think if one of these storms or one of these rotating columns right here will take over with the amount of energy that's in here, we're 73 degrees with a pretty decent wind. This could be, like you said, a long storm here. Because it looks like at this time the center one is going to win and it's going to put it down. So again, hopefully it doesn't happen, but it looks like the conditions are becoming more favorable for that to happen, Mike.
All right, so you're looking live right now at chopper footage from K4 TV in Oklahoma City. This is Caddo County right now under a tornado warning. We've seen this produce, Dr. Forbes, 2 tornado touchdowns, and watching it right now.
Yeah, and going back to your original question of what's the importance of that updraft, that very strong upward motion when it's present, if it can come in contact with some source of rotation at low levels, then it becomes sort of like the skater. It can pull in that rotation because there's an inflow that goes inward toward that strong updraft, and that can be how the tornado can quickly form. So we've gone from what 2 minutes ago probably was mostly upward. Now we're seeing the counterclockwise rotation has in fact developed, and now we have a pretty well-defined tornado.
Very distinct funnel here.
Yeah, you're have another one just in front of that
what we're looking at the ground, it's been very difficult. Even ones that have touched down, we haven't seen a lot of debris. There's not a lot underneath it. We don't see a lot of buildings in the way, which is great news. But a lot of vegetation, your trees or grass or newly planted crops that aren't necessarily being sucked out of the ground.
That's exactly right. My impression is that this is probably a pretty weak tornado at this point. Again, still with mostly upward motion, but some counterclockwise rotation that's going around that, and so it certainly would not pull grass out of the ground, and but it could knock down or pull out a tree on occasion if we were zoomed in enough that we could see that. But we have not been seeing much in the way of debris with this tornado thus far, thank goodness.
A pretty expansive storm here, at least the base of this storm, west to east. We've noticed that on the radar as well. Haven't noticed a lot of precipitation with this, Dr. Forbes, so it'd be considered, I would say at this point, low precipitation. Chasers would call this LP. Then you get a really clear view of what the storm is doing. But incredible footage here from K4 TV in Oklahoma City. You're looking live. Tornado warning right now. If you live near, looking at the radar, if you're near Anadarko, you'd want to take shelter as soon as you can because it's coming for you here, folks. Our tornado warning goes until 3:15 local time, and they have, by the way, extended the watch over to Oklahoma City Metro.
And if you see there in the box in the lower left, I mentioned that it had now 2 hooks. The one is up near Highway 281 off to the west side of the storm, whereas the other is coming right toward that Highway 8 symbol that's heading straight south of the storm. And that Highway 8 symbol, that hook, is the one now where this tornado is in. The one that we saw rope out, that did its roping out in the process of that hook going up the west side of the storm and now being due west
All
or
right,
even
there
northwest.
you go, Dr. Forbes. There, so maybe one right in here, and then one by Stecker and one near Anadarko.
Yeah, and so originally the storm was coming up like this, and the first tornado roped out and made a turn to the left. The new hook is formed, and now that tornado has been reported there. You see the little tornado symbol. That one's heading off toward the northeast, toward the Verdon area. So the new tornado is located in around here. It does not, we're a little bit distant from the radar. It does not have extremely strong rotation showing up, but you can see some red and green showing up in here. That's where the tornado circulation would be, and then heading up toward the Verdon area.
So when I'm looking at the pictures here, do we have the chopper cam still? Don't see the distinct rotation with this that we did maybe just a few minutes ago. But you know, the cycling of these can happen. It happens quite frequently. So it may just be a matter of time before this produces another funnel.
Yeah, absolutely. These storms. This storm has a very well-defined hook echo on it. The hook echo getting more organized. So it has the rotation aloft. It's just having a little bit of difficulty here. Apparently having that rotation right down at the ground. So it has cycled. Occasionally it certainly can put out tornadoes. And with this well-defined of a wall cloud, maybe even a two-centered wall cloud at this point, it's definitely trying to put down tornadoes. Maybe one or two of them. We'll watch this and see which one of those wins out. It's trying to get little embedded circulations within that wall cloud. Maybe even 3 there. There's something off to the far right.
You know, so I'm looking at Anadarko and Verdon here. It may split right between the two towns. It's really, really close. And by the way, we've got a new tornado warning. As we watch this one, we've got a new tornado warning up in Kansas. If we could get up to Kansas there, and we'll take a look at the radar up there, because we had a tornado that touched down near Lincoln County, Kansas, about 45 minutes ago. You watch it live here on the Weather Channel, live chaser cam that showed that. But there's a look. It's Osborne and Smith counties now in Kansas under tornado warning. So in Bethany, Downs, and in Ross, take shelter right now. This would be very near a Highway 281 and 24. Storm looks to be moving off to the northeast here fairly quickly. So please take shelter. New tornado warning for Osborne and Smith County. Dr. Forbes, when you take a look at this, what do you notice? Anything distinct on the radar? I think we can definitely see there's a hook echo in there.
There's definitely a hook echo, and this one is one that definitely is a little bit more complicated than the ones we've seen thus far, with the possibility here of 2 circulations, even 3 circulations in this. It is a storm that has an arm that comes out from the south and east, and then the main part of the storm goes back in from the southwest. Is this?
And you're taking a live look at
yes,
Chaser Cam here, by the way, in Kansas. We got live pictures here out of Kansas, and Dr. Forbes analyzing the same storm on the radar on your left side of your screen.
So this is a big swirling storm. This was likely to turn into a high precipitation supercell thunderstorm. With that kind of swirl there, we'll be seeing a wall cloud, a big wall cloud again, and maybe a tornado somewhere right about under the N in Osborne, heading toward the Ross area. It should miss Portus, but Portus may be getting some hail and certain very heavy rains with this particular storm. I'll zoom in.
It looks like there could be a lot of hail on that. Let's put the tracker on this. We'll show you that Bethany and Dentonia next to be hit. 314 for Bethany, so that's only about 5 minutes from now. So lowest level of your home, take shelter right away, get under a sturdy piece of furniture. If you have a tornado shelter, an underground shelter, now's the time to get there quickly.
And a good time to point out that we tell you that don't rely on seeing the tornado come, because the tornado is down here near just to the northeast of Osborne, but you have not 1 but 2 rain bands that are in your way. So if
you're
never in the path of the storm coming toward you, it's very unlikely you're going to see it until the very last minute, when it may be too late to take shelter. So you want to take shelter based upon the warnings, and that's why we give you the names of the communities that it's going to hit or come near, so that you can sort of know the time that it's headed your way.
This is a separate storm from the one that produced the tornado near Lincoln Center. That was off to the southeast of the tornado warning storm that we have right now. But
it looks like, and now it looks like we have a new tornado warning on maybe that storm again farther down to the south and east.
Let me see if I can. Let me see if I can move that over here. So this is the storm that we were following earlier. Mitchell County still under that tornado warning. This has now gone north of Bernard here, but maybe near Beloit or near Glasgow, or slicing just between Glasgow and Bloomfield.
Yeah, it still has a little bit of a hook that comes out the southwest side of the storm, but you can see by comparison, this one. Precipitation type storm, or a normal classic supercell as we call it, and that was the one we were watching have a multiple vortex tornado earlier. The newer tornado warning that's up there in Osborne and Smith counties is a much more complex, big spiraling mass that is likely to look rather different.
Let's take you back. Can we go back to Oklahoma City and show you the pictures from Oklahoma City? We have live chopper cam out of Oklahoma City, a tornado southwest of Oklahoma City. They've reissued tornado warnings now for Caddo and Grady counties. This is a live look at chopper cam from K4 TV. This has put down 2 tornadoes that we've witnessed here on the Weather Channel, and without question, because they've seen the rotation in this wall cloud, Dr. Forbes, they have to issue another tornado warning for the possibility to see a touchdown again.
Oh, absolutely. Once you've seen the rotation, seen tornadoes, as long as you begin to continue to see something that shows the whole storm is rotating, and in this course the wall cloud itself is visual evidence, they'll be seeing that in the National Weather Service office. They'll also be seeing the radar that continues to get ever a more intense hook echo with that. So I think within a few minutes we're likely to get another tornado form out of this.
What do you make of that hook, Dr. Forbes? And if we get a right turner here, Chickasha would be right in the direct path of this potentially.
Yeah, this is definitely along Highway 8 just to the north of Cyril. It has definitely developed a stronger circulation than just about 5 minutes ago. So that would either head toward Chickasha or along Highway 62, not very far to the west of Chickasha. So probably near Verdon, or might take a turn to the east of Verdon, between Verdon and Chickasha at this point.
That may be the most distinct hook echo we've seen on any of the storms that we've followed so far today. The live pictures that you're looking at here, K4 TV, live chopper cam. These chopper pilots are pretty remarkable, Dr. Forbes, and what they see and how close they get, but showing us incredible pictures. There's a look at the tracker on this, and we'll show you who's in danger next as we time this out for you so you know. There you go, Chickasha, 3:49. So you've got a few minutes, but to make sure you get to a shelter as quickly as you can. Kids, pets, maybe grab your phone real quick and get to your shelter right now. A bedroom that doesn't have windows, a bathroom, a closet, basement, all good places to be, and protect your head. Maybe dive under a big, heavy, sturdy piece of furniture.
Pop up the velocities now, Sarah. It has really intensified the velocities on this. The big area of greens with this rotation, the big area of reds with this big rotating thunderstorm, and then where they're touching right there, the tornado vortex signature. So that is looking like it's probably making a right turn toward the area between Verdon and Chickasha.
They are reporting funnel now halfway to the ground.
Right.
I think we may have lost the chopper cam, but as soon as we get reconnected with them, we'll show you the pictures. This has produced 2 tornadoes, by the way, near Anadarko, south of Anadarko, near Cyril, going toward Vernon, maybe very near Chickasha. Caddo and Grady counties under tornado warnings right now until 3:45 local time.
Look at the hook on that, the wrapping right around here in the area vicinity of Highway 8, with the tornado liking to sit right inside of that notch right in there. And it has definitely, as it's developed additional rotation, that usually means kind of like a pitcher putting spin on a baseball. That means that it has taken a turn, and when the storms rotate counterclockwise, they turn to the right. So that would take it into the area. If it rotates even more toward the Chickasha area, should it do what we've seen some of the storms do, that it cycles, that could still come back up to the Verdon area. So that's why we still have Verdon in the tornado warning, because these storms, as we've seen, can weaken and make a left turn, a new one can form and head off to the right of where the earlier one had been.
All right, so a definitive hook echo. When that pulse is like there and then the new scan comes in, you can see the hail cores off to the north of that, so big hail likely falling out in front of the tornado.
Absolutely. Probably, and we've had, I believe, some 1 inch at least hail reported with this, and it certainly could be producing some hail that could get up to golf ball size. There you're seeing the hail track up to 1.6 inches. I usually feel that that's because of the updraft. The biggest hail doesn't quite get to the ground, so I would make that probably at about reaching the ground of about 1 inch. Would be sort of typical.
All right, let's show you some more live pictures that we have. I believe we've made contact again with the chopper cam from K4, upper left-hand side of your screen, and then following another storm in Kansas that has produced tornadoes near Lincoln, Kansas. So you're watching 2 radars on your right, 2 live cameras on your left. Upper left-hand screen, by the way, is the imminent danger right now. This is the storm that has produced 2 different tornadoes, and we've got at least
now with the Chickasha storm.
Tornado reported on the ground. We're trying to look at that right now.
Southwest of Verdon.
All right, so that makes perfect sense from what we're seeing on the radar. There's a live look at it.
Wow.
The hook is very distinct on the radar. There's the live picture. It's hard to tell, Dr. Forbes, if there's actually a tornado within that right now or not. It looks
really.
Like we may be increasing the precip in this too. Maybe starting to get some rain shafts in this too.
All those little fibrous filaments of precipitation, that grayish that you see there are precipitation.
Sometimes that can be confused because that can rotate too. Those rain bands can actually rotate around the circulation as well.
Right above the right
edge
of our tornado alert symbol there's something that could conceivably be a tornado, but I think at this point it looks like mostly rain shafts. There's also something that over on the right side that is a pretty intense, probably rain or hail core there that could be a narrow little tornado, but it's difficult to confirm at this point if these are tornadoes or just rain shafts.
I wonder if the wall cloud here was, on the radar, there's definitely a very distinct inflow notch that's really wrapped into this now. And so we're really wrapping up a big hook echo here. The wall cloud may be... Let's listen to the pilot right now, John Welsh, his description of what's happening here.
If it stays together, because it's going to kind of go up the turnpike.
So he was talking about the turnpike here, Dr. Forbes.
About 40 miles away from downtown Oklahoma City at this point.
Could be some real danger to folks that are traveling on the roads. This may be going into eventually here's some more populated areas. For the most part, it's been over rural areas, but this may now hold together and last through the Oklahoma City metro area if it takes a turn in that direction.
Absolutely. What you're seeing there is at the far right.
Yeah, Mike, right now you can kind of see it's definitely getting its act together. It's becoming a very large storm. The right side of the storm, the head of it, is kind of going to continue to. There's definitely some suction spots like you talked about in the backside. It looks like the head of it's going to go ahead and touch down another tornado. Going to continue to track kind of up the H.E. Bailey. I'm about 4 miles southwest of the Chickasha Airport, just a couple miles southwest of Chickasha. So if you're in that area, obviously be taking your tornado precautions, but it still hasn't got its act together. It seems like every time it'll kind of lift a little bit. It's kind of in the rain a little.
All of that grayish, and we just lost the input there, but all of those grayish little wispy things just to the left half of the screen there are all rain shafts, maybe some hail embedded in that. It's that low-hanging portion of the cloud that's just slightly to the right of center. That is the wall cloud. That is where the tornado would drop down out of. So this that could be a tornado there, but all of that grayish to the left is not a huge tornado. That's rain that is in the vicinity of the wall cloud. So we're seeing the body of the storm here with rain. Then down in that south side, that would be where that low-hanging wall cloud would be. And inside of this, there is very strong rotation right up at cloud base. Now, as we're seeing there, it's not quite making it to the ground. So that's why sometimes when you get these tornado warnings, they're based upon what the Doppler radar sees, and in this case, it's seeing the strong rotation at cloud base. But as we can see there from the helicopter view, it's not quite making that as a tornado down to the ground at all times. So with this kind of signature, though, Mike, this would be something that I would expect before very long to put down a tornado.
Indeed. We've been watching these camera shots from K4 Chopper. They do just an absolutely absolutely incredible job. But he's got such a vantage point here, Dr. Forbes, that I mean, he's just right on top of it. We've watched this the whole time. Put down 2 different tornadoes, Caddo and Grady counties under tornado warnings, and watching that front end, as he was talking about, potentially produce a tornado. But we've seen the rotation. Let's listen real quick to John Walsh, the chopper pilot.
Until it really gets its act together, we're going to sit there and play cat and mouse. Basically, you can kind of see the backside of it. The lowering is actually rose up just a little bit, but it's separating itself from the rain, and so it's staying in a little bit warmer environment here. If Travis will zoom out and go to your left, we'll show you. Here's the other players in this particular storm, Mike, and this is what's kind of killing it, because on the backside right there, you have those points of rotation that are fighting for its energy. So the one in the front will kind of get really close, and then the one in the back is going to steal its energy. So the ingredients are here, and hopefully it doesn't all intensify, but at this time, it's not looking like it's getting any better here, Mike.
We're timing this out to see when this might be over I-44, and it looks like it could be there, well, let's see, maybe about 30 minutes or so. So Chickasha around 3:52 local time, and they're near Laverty around 3:33. So we're talking maybe another 12 minutes or so before it gets over toward Laverty, but Chickasha about just before the top of the hour.
And I've been looking at our high-definition radar, and inside this rotating wall cloud, we're seeing that up at about 4,000 feet. And I've been seeing about 60 to 70 mile per hour winds in that. So this area right in here, in fact, you see the little spot that I put, that little spot there was where I was seeing the tornado vortex signature. And just
far right of it, I think that's
seeing winds coming this way toward the radar up in the Oklahoma City area, this way on the other side, and this tornado vortex signature right where they touch. So up at about 4,000 feet, it's got like 60, 70 mile per hour winds, not quite reaching the ground with that. We're getting a report now of about 2-inch hail that is falling from the storm here just to the south of Verdon. So this storm, as you can see here, the hail core, the lavenders in here have intensified. We're getting more of a hail threat as well as this rain and tornado threat.
The National Weather Service out of Norman, Oklahoma, saying, Dr. Forbes, storm is turning hard right. Right-turning storms usually become dangerous storms, oftentimes produce tornadoes.
Yeah, this one is heading right now toward Chickasha. Instead of the Verdon area. It's definitely going south of Verdon, but the tornado threat could be heading right toward Chickasha.
Chickasha and right along I-44. If you know someone that might be traveling in this location in the short term, within the next half hour to 40 minutes, strongly discourage travel here on the south side of Oklahoma City. This is be near Chickasha, right along I-44. Storm moving almost now, it appears almost due east as it's taking a hard right-hand turn here. Vernon, you may be looking at some hail, some large hail, definitely some heavy rain, but tornado warnings continue for Caddo and Grady counties now. Let's go ahead, Sarah, can we go out just a little bit wider? I'm going to give some people some perspective of where Oklahoma City is, which would be just off to your north here. So Oklahoma City sitting right in here, and the storm now just to our south and west. And so Chickasha, you were probably next at risk. Highway 62 here, just between Highway 62 and I-44 is where the tornado may be. We've been looking at the live pictures from K4's cameras, chopper cam here, that's shown 2 distinct tornado touchdowns in about the last 30 to 40 minutes. And this may be cycling, could potentially produce another tornado touchdown. We've seen this hook echo take on a very distinct shape. Lately, though, Dr. Forbes, the latest scan or so doesn't look as distinct as it once did, and with the inflow notch maybe sucking in some rain-cooled air now?
Yeah, I think it's pulled in that little filament that you saw right in here. I think it's pulled some rain-cooled air all the way around itself. And so what we're seeing is a little tail of cloud that's coming in here. That's right in the inflow notch is right in here. That's where the inflow comes in. I'll draw in red. The rain-cooled air is wrapped all the way around. And that's what you're seeing. All those rain shafts in here are what you're seeing with that little wall cloud, that little lowering that's just off to the edge of that. So that's what you're seeing on radar to correspond to what you've been seeing from the helicopter.
Is there anything that you can see on radar, Dr. Forbes, that would indicate to you that this may indeed choke itself off and the danger may be subsiding?
I think it will cycle. At the moment, the danger has subsided, but what will probably happen, given how strong this is rotating, is it will form a new hook a new inflow area over here and probably may actually go south of Chickasha over toward the Dibble area. That would be my prediction. You can't always get these details right.
Well, weather isn't always an exact science, Dr. Forbes, so doing our best here. Hey, I-44 would be next in line to be hit. Again, we have tornado warnings right now in Oklahoma, in Caddo and Grady counties, and also up in Kansas in Osborne and Smith counties. We're going to step away for just a moment. We'll be right back after this.
I'm the protector of my patio. Killing weeds where they grow. A barrier forms so weeds can't appear. Serious weed prevention up to a year.
Roundup Max Control 365.
So I'm fighting weeds on while I get away. Weeds stay dead as we carve this beast, and they still aren't back when I cook this feast.
Roundup Max Control 365.
One more time, let me make it clear. With no more weeds, it's your year.
A message from the Pulaski Law Firm. A government study reports thousands of workers have been diagnosed with asbestos-related mesothelioma. To compensate those affected, asbestos trusts have been established with $30 billion in initial funding. You may be entitled to financial compensation without ever going to court. Act now. Call 1-800-950-MESO for a free consultation. If you've been diagnosed with mesothelioma, get the best care available. Then call us. Mesothelioma. Don't fight it alone.
Smile. No matter how well you provide for your family today, if you don't have life insurance, their future may be at risk. Think about what would happen if you were gone. Would they struggle to pay the bills and face an uncertain future? They don't have to. You can help guarantee those you love $200,000, $500,000, $750,000 or more with life insurance through AIG Direct. We'll help you get more for your money, up to 70% more. Just look, less than $14 a month buys a 40-year-old man a $250,000 term life policy. That's up to 3 times what you can get from other companies for the same price. No wonder millions of people rely on AIG companies. The call is free, the quote is free, and there's no obligation. Make the future more secure for those you love. Call now so you can sleep better at night.
For a free quote, call 1-800-521-0331 or visit AIGDirect.com.
Where you get your weather matters.
This is a large and dangerous tornado.
Real local.
We are live in Oklahoma, Arkansas.
Real accurate.
This one's going to have some precipitation with it.
Real experts.
Wow, that's the leading edge of the thunderstorm.
This is basically what makes the Weather Channel
Keep the Weather Channel on. Here at the Weather Channel.
The Weather Channel is out in full force today.
Only the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 81 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Tonight, partly cloudy, chance of a thunderstorm. Low 68. Chance of rain 30%. Thursday, sunshine and some clouds. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. High 85. Thursday night, thunderstorms early. Low 70. Chance of rain 40%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
In the Woods, new season June 7th on the Weather Channel.
Welcome back to Weather Center Live, where we have been following tornadoes developing this afternoon. This just earlier in Kansas, Lincoln County, Kansas, we have this multi-vortex tornado come across the road through that roof, and then this suction vortex came across, and look at this debris go flying. Very dangerous tornadic storms moving through the center of the country today. So this was one area that we're watching, but certainly not the only one.
No, just south of Kansas in Oklahoma, Oklahoma, we were dealing with another tornado as it formed. We watched it from its inception as well, and it was huge, and we're still watching this one as it moves north and east across the north central parts of Oklahoma, approaching just west of the Oklahoma City area. So we are continuing to follow both of these tornadoes that we've been following actually for the last hour.
So right now, the storm that we were just looking at video from the helicopter from KFOR, that storm is generally headed towards the Chickasha area where they are holding kids in school. They do not want parents coming to pick up their kids, warning people to stay off the roads. And speaking of the roads, around the Oklahoma City metro area, they're using digital billboards now to warn people of the dangerous storm chances through the rest of the evening.
That is right. So you definitely don't want to be out and about. If you're in your car, of course, and you see a tornado, then you want to quickly abandon your car and get to a sturdy building if you can now, because definitely you want to be on the lowest floor of that building and get away from all windows. We've been watching this. I mean, talk about reality TV.
Yeah.
We've been following these two tornadoes for the last hour or so. This one, again, in central Oklahoma, west of Oklahoma City, near the Chickasha area. We still have a tornado warning for Caddo and Grady counties.
So what you're looking at on the right side of your screen is the live view again from that helicopter from KFOR, looking at the lowered base, that lowered wall cloud, the kind of striations, that gray color, that is a rain shaft. That is rain coming down from the storm, and it does appear to become a little bit more rain polluted at times. Helicopter pilot is speaking. Let's listen in.
This has been the strongest that it's looked for probably the last 15 or 20 minutes. I think what happened is the bottom kind of fell out, for lack of a better word, coming out of there, which really lost a lot of its intensity. Now the rain is lightened up, as you can see, and we're getting a little bit more rotation in there. So at this time, we have a pretty decent feeder band coming in there. The rain's lightening up, and it looks like within a little bit, this is probably going to put another tornado down, Mike.
And that is a fairly common pattern. You see that rain, cooled air circle around, maybe cut off the circulation for a time before these storms cycle through again and that rotation gets stronger. So we're certainly keeping a close eye on this one.
Yes, again, this is west of Oklahoma City and Norman, Oklahoma. It's about 3:30 Central Time, and many of the kids are holding, well, many of the students and schools are holding the kids in school because of this dangerous scenario. In fact, let's go back to the lab and bring in Mike Bettis to talk more about this tornado that you've been following for the last hour, Mike.
We have, Vivian, that's put down two tornadoes that we witnessed live on the chopper cam here, and with our severe weather expert, Dr. Greg Forbes. You had mentioned, Dr. Forbes, that it could potentially cycle and may produce another hook echo and may threaten, locations due east of where that hook echo is.
Yeah, and I think it is doing that. A couple minutes ago, I looked at the radar and I could see the old circulation had turned a little bit to the left. A new hook had formed, and it continues to get a little bit more intense over toward the area west of Norridge and heading toward the Chickasha area. So that is down. The old circulation seems to have gone up into here. The new hook forming in here. In fact, you could almost see a little arm coming in, so that all the swirl now is getting itself focused on this brand new reforming hook over toward Chickasha.
If I turn on the storm relative velocities here, Dr. Forbes, what will we notice here? I mean, we had noticed some very distinct, Sarah, go ahead and turn those velocities on if we can. We noticed some very distinct inbound and outbound winds. That became a little bit polluted, and it looked like it kind of had gone away, more or less a rotating wall cloud, but maybe not that distinct rotation down at the ground.
Yeah, it has gotten some new rotation that is down in this area. The old rotation has gotten left behind back in here, so that new hook is forming in this Highway 92 area, going to head toward the area north of Ninica and in between there and the Chickasha, as I'm seeing it.
In that location where that potential TVS is forming, that tornado vortex signature, less rain-cooled air to pull into the inflow to choke it off, and may actually start to strengthen now.
Absolutely, and that's what you're seeing there in the camera. Now he's panning left, and you don't see any of those rain shafts coming down in there. It's right at the south corner of the storm. And even getting some inflow from the south and east that is no longer rain cooled, and so it is gaining some of that warm, moist, unstable inflow again that could reinvigorate the rotation of the supercell of the mid-level circulation of the storm, and could allow a tornado to form once again.
One thing we've noticed is the dew points, and we need this warm, moist, buoyant air, Dr. Forbes. Dew points have been mid to upper 60s, which is more than enough to fuel some storms.
Very, very moist today, very unstable. And these storms, should note, have gone earlier in the day than they typically do out in this area because there was none of this warm, dry air aloft that had that would inhibit and delay the storms. There had been a bit of a cold pocket aloft. An upper low had come out of the southwest, and it has actually already moved over this area. So the cold air is in place over top of that warm, moist air at low levels, and that's making it unstable earlier in the afternoon than typical.
So that makes for rapid ascent of air, so thunderstorms can build tall and strong. We're worried about I-44. What are your concerns here about I-44, Dr. Forbes? Looks like maybe in the next 25 minutes or so could come right over the highway.
Yeah, indeed, and probably somewhere in the vicinity of Chickasha as it would be coming across I-44 with its movement. That said, it may have turned a little bit to the left here recently, but I think it's going to go back to the right again. If it continues the way it has been going the past few minutes, it may go off to the north and east of Chickasha. If it turns far more to the right, it would be closer to the Chickasha area. So at this point, it may be heading into an area between Chickasha and Amber, or close to Chickasha, with the rotating part of the storm.
And we've been watching the live cameras here from K4 TV in Oklahoma City, rotating wall cloud from their chopper cam. Let's listen in right now to the pilot, John Welch. He describes this.
That first storm, you can kind of see where it's lowered pretty well as we kind of continue to look back towards the left in the areas that you talked about. It's rotating, but it's pretty high base. It's probably 1,500, 2,000 feet above the ground back there on the second one. But another spot that we're looking at is, if Travis can zoom in right there in the top right of your shot, Travis, right there. That's going to be just to the backside of that major lowering here, and it's kind of getting its act together. It's going to lower, but I think what'll probably happen has been happening all night. That second storm that we talked about just a moment ago is probably going to end up taking all its energy, because we're seeing some light rotating clouds, scud clouds in it now, but at this time it's still too high to put down a decent tornado there, Mike.
Dr. Forbes, he said two distinct things there I want to ask you about. He talked about high base.
Yep.
And he talked about scud clouds. Explain to our viewers what he's talking about there.
Well, when storms have a high base, that means there's a big distance between where the rotation is in the cloud and then the ground. So the higher the base, the harder it is in some cases to get that rotating air down all the way to the ground. And so that's the importance of the high base. Scud clouds, those are areas where there's some updraft present. And so if you get a little pocket of humidified air, maybe rain-cooled air, you can get those rising, and they form clouds that are momentarily below cloud base. They usually rise up. Sometimes they get confused with the funnel clouds.
But they don't rotate.
No, and they usually look pretty ragged, more so than a funnel.
Again, watching live storm coverage here from K4 TV's Chopper Cam. We have a tornado warning for Caddo and Grady counties near Oklahoma City. Coverage continues after this.
Currently in our area, 81 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Tonight, partly cloudy, chance of a thunderstorm. Low 68. Chance of rain 30%. Thursday, sunshine and some clouds. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. High 85. Thursday night, thunderstorms early. Low 70. Chance of rain 40%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Thompson's Water Seal Waterproofing Stain. The seal you can trust, with stain and sealer in one, and easy to choose colors. Exceptional beauty and protection have never been easier. Thompson's Water Seal Waterproofing Stain. Available at the Home Depot.
It's a beautiful day to use Thompson's Water Seal.
I've got plans, and this is my baby right now. So it's just not the right time to get pregnant.
That's why I chose Skyla. Skyla is the small, flexible IUD that prevents pregnancy for up to 3 years. So for me, there are no daily pills or monthly refills. I got my Skyla placed in just a few minutes at my OBGYN's office. And if I want to try to get pregnant, I can get it removed whenever I want.
If you have a pelvic infection, get infections easily, or have certain cancers, don't use Skyla. Less than 1% of users get a serious infection called PID. If you have persistent pelvic or stomach pain, or if Skyla comes out, tell your doctor. Skyla may attach or go through the uterus and cause other problems. Pregnancy while using Skyla is uncommon, but can be life-threatening and may result in loss of pregnancy or fertility. Ovarian cysts may occur, but usually disappear. Bleeding and spotting may increase in the first 3 to 6 months and remain irregular. Periods over time usually become shorter, lighter, or may stop. Skyla does not protect against HIV or STDs.
Talk to your OBGYN about making the move to Skyla.
Check with your insurance to find out if you can get Skyla at no cost.
Furnishing your home is a little bit like cooking. My next door neighbor, for instance, she likes things spicy. My best friend, she's into natural organic greens. And Lazy Boy makes all of it. Really, Lazy Boy Furniture Galleries. Live life comfortably.
I'm Alex Trebek. If you're age 50 to 85, I have an important message about security. Write down the number on your screen so you can call when I finish. The lock I want to talk to you about isn't the one on your door. This is a lock for your life insurance, a rate lock that guarantees your rate can never go up at any time for any reason. But be careful. Many policies you see do not have one. But you can get a lifetime rate lock through the Colonial Penn program. Call this number to learn more. This plan was designed with a rate lock for people on a fixed income who want affordable life insurance that's simple to get. Coverage options for just $9.95 a month, less than 35 cents a day. Act now, and your rate will be locked in for life. It will never increase. Guaranteed. This is lifelong coverage that can never be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Guaranteed. And your acceptance is guaranteed, with no health questions. You cannot be turned down because of your health. Call for your information kit and read about this rate lock for yourself. You'll also get a free gift with great information. Both are free, with no obligation. Don't miss out. Call for information, then decide. Read about the 30-day 100% money-back guarantee. Don't wait. Call this number now.
Call 1-800-355-8535 for your free information and a free gift. There's no obligation. That's 1-800-355-8535. Or visit us at colonialpenn.com. That number again is 1-800-355-8535. 1-800-355-8535. Call now.
All right, you're watching the Weather Channel, and we have been watching radar very closely right in the heart of the country from Kansas into Oklahoma. We've been following thunderstorms that have produced tornadoes. We've watched them live from their inception all the way to a very mature tornado, even multiple vortices we've been watching. To the left, you're seeing the Oklahoma skies in the central part of the state, and to the right, we have the related radar, which does show a very intense area of storms just to the west of the Chickasha area, west of Oklahoma City and Norman, Oklahoma, by the way, and a tornado warning has been issued for Grady County.
Then on this, the lower half of your screen, we're looking at Kansas. We have a new lowering west of Salina, Kansas, but a warning on the right side of your screen has a confirmed tornado with that. Jewell County, the National Weather Service employee in the area noticed a tornado on the ground. So this is a strongly worded tornado warning as well. Goes until 4 o'clock for Jewell County, and here's some of the timing for you. Limestone by around 4:02 and Mankato by 4:17 as this storm continues to slowly move its way on off towards the north and east. A powerful storm with a tornado in progress.
Oh, very powerful. Let's go back to the lab with our expert Dr. Greg Forbes and Mike Bettis to talk more about these tornado warnings.
Vivian and Mark, thank you very much. We we have multiple tornado watches, by the way, that line up, Dr. Forbes, from Nebraska all the way down through Texas. So the atmosphere is really ripe right now. We've had multiple tornado touchdowns and tornado warnings right now. I'm going to take you back to Kansas, by the way. We're going to North Kansas. We're going to work our way down through Oklahoma. 2 areas of concern in those different states. Well, this is Jewell County, Dr. Forbes, and you've seen a hook echo on here, and they reported the tornado about 8 miles west of Iona.
Yeah, indeed. And so the rotation is right about here. That's going to head up toward Mankato, Kansas. It has pretty strong rotation on that. We'll show in just a moment. There you're seeing coming toward the Mankato area around 421. It's west of Iona and heading off toward the north and east at about 20 miles per hour. It is has had a reported tornado with that. I can show that also, Sarah, on the Gibson Ridge radar. So large tornado was reported. Here's the Gibson Ridge, the high resolution radar with the tornado report momentarily, or a few moments ago, I should say, where that circulation has now moved a little bit to the north and east. I'll show you the velocities here that show how we know that. And it's pretty strong velocities. Let's see, there I hit the button. So pretty strong velocities now. If anywhere it's gusting out, maybe a little bit. Anywhere the rotation, probably strongest in here, but there's also some rotation right back along that area as well. So it is out along the leading edge of this hook echo heading up toward the Mankato area.
And we've got some pretty big hail maybe north of that. You see that kind of in that purple magenta color there. So big hail off to the north of that storm.
Yeah, just to the south of Esbon, heading off to the north and west of the Mankato area.
All right, let's take you back down into Oklahoma. We've been following a storm down here outside of Oklahoma City near Chickasha. This is southwest of Oklahoma City and maybe coming over I-44 momentarily.
And brand new tornado warning for Grady County now for the Amber and Chickasha areas. And this storm has cycled. It's put out a new hook such that the threat is very close to Chickasha, maybe just slightly west of Chickasha. Now there is where the hook echo is. And so that would be where the tornado would be, heading off just to the north of Chickasha, unless it turns to the right, and then just to the south of the Amber area. You're seeing there a tail cloud coming in from right to left toward right the center of the picture there where the wall cloud is. That's the rotating part of the storm.
So we should not, what you're seeing there kind of to center, right center of your screen, we should not confuse that with a funnel, Dr. Forbes.
No,
if the funnel were to form, it'd probably be more to the left of your screen.
More to the left of the screen and more straight up and down. That's inflow coming off. You see all that murky gray off to the right. That is rain-cooled forward flank of the storm. Humidified air is coming off of that, being drawn back southwest into the updraft of the storm, and that's what forms that tail cloud that you're seeing there that angles its way up toward the left, toward the middle of the screen.
One thing that's a little concerning is that this storm, if it holds together, will be coming toward the Oklahoma City metro area right around rush hour. And so there'll be big concerns with heavy rain, maybe some hail, and the possibility of tornadoes with a lot of people on the roads.
Yeah, indeed. And certainly the way this storm is heading, it's heading more toward the Norman area. So I would not advise heading south toward the Norman area at this point, unless you absolutely have to.
All right, more analysis with the best in the business. Dr. Greg Forbes, when we come back after this short break.
Can a protein originally found in a jellyfish improve your memory? Our scientists say yes. Researchers have discovered a protein that actually supports healthier brain function. It's the breakthrough in a supplement called Prevagen. As we age, we lose proteins that support our brain. Prevagen supplements these proteins and has been clinically shown to improve memory. It's safe and effective. For support of healthier brain function, a sharper mind, and clearer thinking, try Prevagen for yourself today.
I don't know what I should do next.
Do what everybody else does. Start a business. Build yourself a website.
Welcome to T.O.'s Humble Pie.
With Wix.com,
Let's party!
we make it easy to create your own all-pro website. All by yourself.
Farve and carve.
You did that yourself?
Don't look so surprised.
Go to Wix.com, create your website today.
In a matter of seconds, your life can change.
We had kids still into school.
And it just hit us.
This was it.
The Weather Channel's most watched original program is back.
Things are just going everywhere. It was a nightmare.
And then it was silent.
This is just the beginning of what's to come.
Currently in our area, 81 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Tonight, partly cloudy, chance of a thunderstorm. Low 68. Chance of rain 30%. Thursday, sunshine and some clouds. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. High 85. Thursday night, thunderstorms early. Low 70. Chance of rain 40%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Hurry! There's a hot offer for heartburn sufferers. Now try Zantac free at ZantacOffers.com. Hurry! It's free this week only. No pill relieves heartburn faster. Get Zantac free at ZantacOffers.com.
Our oath isn't an empty gesture. It's the heart and soul of Terminix Nation. The Terminix Ultimate Protection Guarantee. A vow that we kill every termite in your home. Not here, not now, not in my house. Terminix.
Quiet! Mom has a headache! Had a headache. But now, I don't. Excedrin is fast.
In fact, for some, relief starts in just 15 minutes. Excedrin.
Wow, that was fast.
Most homes have air leaks and drafts that waste as much energy as leaving a window open in your home all year long. Call Champion Windows at 844-4CHAMPION, and you can get 25% off of new windows for your home. Call today, because every home needs a champion.
There was a time when the sea gave way to the sky, raising an amazing destination like no other. Atlantis. Book now and receive a $250 airfare credit, plus a free shallow water dolphin interaction. Offer ends May 20th. Visit AtlantisBahamas.com.
The FDA issued a public notice to doctors and patients concerning serious injuries caused by transvaginal mesh, bladder mesh, pelvic sling, and bladder sling. Please call now if you had one of these devices implanted in the last 5 years. You may be entitled to a cash award. If you had a transvaginal mesh, bladder mesh, pelvic sling, or bladder sling in the last 5 years,
please call 1-866-686-7952 now.
I'm one.
I'm one.
I'm one.
I am one of the ones who discovered Always Discreet underwear for sensitive bladders.
It makes me feel secure, confident, and I feel protected.
I mean, I feel comfortable to move in them. They move with me.
I love Always Discreet underwear because of the fit. The fabric is very soft. I can wear whatever I want to wear.
Always Discreet's made me a very happy woman.
Join over 500,000 women who've discovered Always Discreet underwear. For more stories and your free sample, go to alwaysdiscreet.com so bladder leaks can feel like no.
As former firemen, we learned the key to doing a great job was to work well together.
It's also the key to making a great sandwich.
Take our turkey bacon ranch sub, pile high with smoked turkey breast, sharp cheddar cheese, creamy peppercorn ranch, then top with bacon.
Or try our Hook and Ladder Light. Starts at just $5.49. Like all our subs, a perfect balance of ingredients working well together.
If only you and your barber could work so well together.
At least I still need one. Please.
Firehouse Subs, founded by firemen.
Nutrition Smart wants you to be smart with your nutrition. Save more this month with 20% off Thursdays. That's right.